All right, race fans, just two of us tonight. Episode 254. I had to look. My memory's really good, but it's really short, so I had to look to see what number. But episode 254 of the One to Go show. As always, Ryan Aho in the house and former Proctor Speedway track champion, multi-time crew chief for national championship team. We got Changa in the house. Changa, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be here.
I know you're watching a little hockey right now in the background. The
I am.
Wild got a couple of their studs back in the lineup here before the playoffs, and you said that they just connected for a tying
Or,
goal or what?
yep, yep. Wait, hold on. Before we go any further, I wanted to show you this too.
Oh
We're twinning.
Jesus,
We're twinning.
we are
Let's.
we are twinning. We are twinning.
I
All right.
one of my best friends. I ain't gonna name any names, but he did bring me this home from a recent vacation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that's what friends are for. All right, all right. So episode 254, and folks, I promise you, it's not going to be over 2 hours like it was last time. Oh my God, we just got bullshit and racing. Next
Right?
thing you know, it's 2 hours, 2 hours 20 minutes. I'm like, how the hell did that happen?
It
And
didn't feel like it.
no, I tell you, Puka he is probably a little disappointed. When he was on the show, he was like, "All right, we got 2 more minutes, next topic," and he'd kind of keep us on track. He wanted that 30 to 40 minute deal. Maybe need to get him back to kind of babysit a little bit, but when Dad's not here to take care of us, kids kind of get out of control, and that's what we do. So sorry, Puka, it kind of is what it is. Guess you need to come back, right? Guess you need to come back. So before we get into it here, quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Impact Health Sharing. So if you're in the market, if you pay for your own health insurance, you could be a single person, a couple, a family, a business, you could have employees, whatever it may be. If you're paying for health insurance every month and you're looking at the premiums and you're like, how the hell am I paying that kind of money? Crazy high deductibles. I mean, I've seen people paying, $1,000, $1,500 a month, and it's like, how do they do that, right? It's just crazy. Well, if you're in that realm, right, and you're paying way too much, I might have a solution for you. It's worth checking into. It's called Impact Health Sharing, and family premiums every month. You're looking right around $600 a month, 650 maybe for a family. Very, very affordable deductibles. You can go to any provider of your choice. Hit me up 218-969-1380 or hit me up on Messenger. I can get you a quick quote, pass along the information you need to see if this is a better fit for you. Because if you're spending that kind of money and you can save some of it, you can do cool kid shit like race car stuff, right? And I'd rather spend it on race car stuff than I would to spend it on health insurance. So check that out. All right, let's start with a little WISSOTA news. I mean, we're a WISSOTA centric show and primarily focus on that, but a little bit of news. Season openers coming up this weekend. A lot of cancellations already, right? But there's one track. Now, if you look at a map of the United States, of the WISSOTA region, right? Common sense would be like it only makes sense that one of the southern tracks probably going to open first. Yeah, no. It's literally South Siberia, I'm going to call it, middle of absolute frickin' nowhere, the Devil's Playground, Devil's Lake Speedway opening up this Saturday. And if you haven't been there, worth checking out. Really cool setup. You can actually, Changa, I don't know if I talked to you about this, you can sit right in their restaurant that's right along the front straightaway there. You can eat a steak dinner. You can watch the races right out the window, have a cocktail right there. So, I mean, if you're a little cold, I think the weather looks pretty good, though. It's worth checking out. I went up there. When I went up there, I brought the bad weather with me, so they got a bunch of rain. But I've seen a lot of races there, and they do a really good job. Really fun to watch racing there. So Nolan will more than likely have the place in tip-top shape. Now, if no, let's face it, Devil's Lake, North Dakota, that's a long ass ways away. Tonga, do you know where that is? Do you have any idea where Devil's Lake, North Dakota is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's South Siberia.
Yes, something like that. It is. It's roughly an hour, just shy of an hour west of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Right. So I mean, you're talking way up there, way over there. Right. So if you're a fan and you're like, I want to watch some Wissota racing. Darn TV will have the coverage this Saturday. You'll be able to rent that on Darn TV. So check that out. Looking forward to getting some Wissota racing underway. And they're not Wissota, they're Wissota region, right? But they're not Wissota. The Cedar Lake Speedway, they're opening up this Saturday as well. And the weather looks good. I think it looked like 67 for a high, which is, I tell you, when you look at that, that's warmer than it is in Superior, Wisconsin, like end of July, right? I mean, it's so that's summer weather, right? In Superior, Wisconsin. So the weather's going to be good, and that's going to be on racing dirt. They made the switch to racing dirt this year, so pretty excited about that. Being able to watch some of the local guys and gals race, so pretty excited about that. But let me ask you this, right? I was kind of looking at car counts, and you pitted for me, and it was always a mad scramble at the beginning of the year. It's like, we got to get to opener. We have to be at opener. It just is what it is. Got to be there, right? And I'm looking at the car cones from like Cedar Lake, and they had 9 mods last year. Weather looks better this year, so I anticipate the number's going to be up. But it's just different. I mean, the car counts, it was like going to a major invitational. When you went to Cedar Lake Opener back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I mean, car counts were massive, multiple B mains in every class, and the fans were just jacked to the moon to get out. Well, guess what? They didn't have, Changa. They didn't have streaming. We've literally been watching racing nonstop. There's no off season. Like literally, what, 1 or 2 weeks around Christmas time, and then it's right back to the Chili Bowl, the Wild West Shootout. So fans are watching racing. Your thoughts on the whole feeling of the way things have changed compared to back when we raced, with lacking that buzz for season opener. Your thoughts on that whole deal?
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, there is no off season, right? I mean, you don't even get an opportunity to miss the game. You don't get an opportunity to miss it. Of course, we all miss being at the track, but nobody misses being out in 40-degree weather, right? At the beginning of the year. But it's just too short of an off season in a lot of cases with streaming. Once your Wissota season's over, you're still watching things, and your thirst for seeing some racing is just missing.
It really is. And the drivers, don't get me wrong, with Soda racers, most of them, I know a few of them went down to Arizona. There's a few that kind of bounced around, not many. But so the racers are more than likely looking forward to it. But even racers now, right? They just don't come out in full force. The fans I get, because you got streaming, they're watching it online. I get all that. But the drivers too. I mean, I remember Steve Baker used to own M West Racing Equipment up in Chisholm, Minnesota. He was a Fager's parts dealer. There was a lot of them through the region. Shout out Lou Fager's Racing Equipment, no longer with us. But Steve Baker, right, he used to give me a ton of shit, right? Because we were broke, right? And most racers back then were blue collar. You just kind of did what you had to do to pay for it. And every single year, we charged everywhere we could just to make sure we had the car ready to get to opener. And he's like, I don't understand you people. Like literally, you're scrambling last minute to get your butt down to Cedar Lake. And back then it was first week of April, snow on the ground, track probably rough, and he just give us a ton of shit. And I'm like, I don't care. Are can you think of any racers today that are just, it's opening night, gotta be there, have to go, right? Have to go. Any racers that come to mind that have that mentality anymore? You mentioned you talked to Daryl Nelson. I don't know that Daryl quite has that mentality anymore, because he's probably at that side of his career where he's like, I'll get out there when I get out there. But sounds like his kid might be a little excited, or what?
Yeah, yeah. Daryl said, Cade better be a good boy because he has got the itch. He's like, we need to go down and pick up this engine. We need to be ready for the Cedar Lake opener. And he was talking about last week, and I don't know if they've gotten the engine and got the car ready. I sure hope so, because we all want to see him down there. And but yeah, there's a young kid that's got the itch, wants to go race, and there's a few guys. I mean, needless to say, your Cedar Lake, your locals down there, they typically are always ready for their opener. Last year, you had the Canadians, the two national champions. They were at a non-Wissota track, but they were both there and performed well at the opener. And who the heck knows if they'll be there or if they'll be at Devil's Lake trying to get a jump start on defending their championships this year.
Yeah, that's a hike. I mean, I guess from Thunder Bay, both of them are a hike, but I would assume if they race it, it'll probably be Cedar. I did talk to Blake Adams. He's going to be racing probably Cedar Lake. He's kind of looking at Cedar Lake this weekend. But Cade's going to run he's going to run a full blown late model this year, right?
Oh, that's the story. I don't know if he'll have it at Cedar Lake or not for the opener. I mean, I guess I didn't ask, and I don't even know if the car is quite ready or not. But I would, he's concerned about his USRA car, the way I understand it. But who knows? He's probably concerned about both. And Dad will put his stuff on the back burner more than likely. And I know he's got some fresh equipment, and he claims he's not ready chomping at the bit, but he's a racer and he wants to win races, and he's got that modified feature win deal in Cedar Lake where he's not all that far off of. I believe Thatcher has the record for most feature wins down there in a mod, and he's closing in on it. So, he'll probably race until he wins it.
Yeah, he'll race until the family says we don't want you to race anymore, which will probably be never. So he'll be there for a long time. I hope, because we all like watching Daryl Nelson. So good luck to all the racers this weekend. Devil's Lake Speedway, Cedar Lake Speedway. Them are the two primary tracks in our region opening up. So good luck to the tracks. Hopefully the weather and the crowds are good, and we'll be watching online. So shout out here to Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating, right up in Ashland, Wisconsin, home of the Red Clay Classic, 50th annual Red Clay Classic. Shout out to that this year. That's going to be a big one, end of September. But of course, Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating, Chris and the crew, proud sponsor of the #1 series in Wissota Racing, of course, the Northland Superstock Series. I'm very passionate about that series. Dennis does a great job. But I tell you, Chris does an awesome job at Fastlane. They service all the racetracks throughout the Northland. They get any part you need, tires, safety equipment, literally anything you need racing-wise, they can get it. They got a great shop there in Ashland. They can ship it to you, whatever you need. And they do custom fabricating, sandblasting, powder coating. I mean, they do a lot of stuff. Home of the Galloper chassis. That's a shout out right there. Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating in Ashland, Wisconsin. So let's start with a little news. So we had a little news on Wissota, what's coming up. And we're going to jump into some late model discussion. I sent you the agenda, but I threw a little curveball in. Have you ever seen a race, a prominent, like long-standing invitational, literally just out of the blue say, we're going to cancel this race due to lack of interest?
No, never once in Wissota, but I know where you're going with this.
So the battle at the bull ring, that is the B mod portion. They used to, so Humboldt, Kansas, they for years have had, that's where the King of America USMTS was. Of course, that moved to Wheatland to the Lucas Oil Speedway. But they also have the battle at the bull ring. I believe Skeeter Esty has won that at least once, I believe. And that race down there for B mods, mind you, 5,000 to win, 1,000 to start the feature. Okay. So over the last few years, they've been around 50 cars, and they put a post out here this week. Event canceled, not enough pre-entries. They're just canceling the race. 5,000 to win, 1,000 to start the feature, only a $200 draw fee, which is nothing when it's 1,000 to start, and they can't get enough cars to have the show. I feel like there's more to the story maybe that we don't know, right? I think maybe a lot of times they put the post out and they're like, here's the post, but maybe I don't know if they have money issues. I have no idea. Most tracks do nowadays, right? But I just found that interesting. Is that something we're going to see more of? I mean, you look at the mod race that Barry just had, right? XR and 145 cars last year for 100 grand to win, 66 this year, is, and I mean, this is just a normal thing, right? So a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, everybody's quitting going to the XR races because of Barry. Well, Barry doesn't promote the battle at the bull ring. That's not his show. And apparently nobody wanted to go to that either. So I don't know. I mean, it's a bummer, right? You see some of these bigger races like that, and for them to just up and cancel the race because there's not enough drivers that wanted to go. Interesting to me. I hope that doesn't become the norm, right? Racing's kind of in a tough spot right now. drivers, I'm going to say this. When these big shows come into your area, and we want to support local racing, race your weekly track, support your local racetrack, you got to have a strong weekly program. But when there's bigger shows and it doesn't maybe interfere with what you're doing on a weekly basis, if you want them to stick around, you got to go. You got to attend them. And I get it. Shit's expensive and you got to work and families. I get all that. But, you can't complain on one side and say, we ain't got no freaking big paying shows. They got to pay us more. They got to pay us more. And then not go to the shows that pay good, right? We bang on Chris at FYE, but I tell you what, there's not a lot of promoters out there putting together these kind of events, right? They're not doing that. And he has some good paying shows, and sometimes the car counts just don't reflect it. So, regardless of who promotes it, love, no, half the people, if you're a racetrack promoter, 50% of the people hate you. It just is what it is. But if you want these shows to continue, you gotta attend them. And so hopefully moving forward through 2025, when the money's on the line, we want to see drivers at these shows is kind of the idea. I
So
have my phone, Changa, on Do Not Disturb. I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm gonna text the group here because I don't know why I'm still getting texts, unless that's on your end. I'm not sure. Um,
I haven't seen any.
okay, so that's on my end. So maybe is it coming up on my screen?
I haven't seen it on either one of our screens.
Okay, so maybe it's just fine. I'm getting a couple texts that go across the top. Hopefully, right? Hopefully it doesn't just show every single text message on the video, but I'll just ignore it then. And
That's be
if you
good.
see something come across my screen, let me know, but we'll just assume not. But I know you had a thought there. What do you got?
I want to know what constitutes lack of interest, right? We were kind of looking at this earlier today, and there was last year like 44 cars at this race, and the year before there was 50 something, and it's obviously going down. But seriously, 5,000 to win, 1,000 to start. You can't tell me where do you got to get to be considered lack of interest? Because let's be honest, there's got to be 40 cars within, say, 150 miles that would, shit, we would go 150 miles for 225 to win, and you're telling me nobody will go there for 1,000 to win? For 1,000 to start. Really, how is that even a thing? Is it? Makes me wonder, is there a lack of fans and they're worried about the weather, or they're worried about the fans and they're worried about paying the purse, and that's kind of a cop out? I don't know.
It sure feels that way, right? Because I think you're spot on. I think that races would show up, and a lot of times, races, it's only $25 different from pre-entry to registration. It was 175 to pre-register, $200 if you just registered when you got there. And I don't think that's enough of a variance to get people to be like, I'm gonna do it right away, right? It's got to be more of a discount, or you got to do something to get. If you want them pre-entries, it's got to be more money savings than that. And yeah, I guess it's hard to say. We might not ever know the answer. There's always a little bit more to the story than we know, but their press release, of course, said lack of registrations. So we'll just stick with that for now. And that I have no idea what that number is, what that means, but unfortunate because it was a good show. It was super enjoyable to watch. They had several different. They had USRA cars there. They had WISSOTA cars there, and it was always very very strong outing from the WISSOTA drivers. But I guess it is what it is. So this past week, Changa, about everything freaking rained out. Mother Nature like absolutely dominated the week. However, down in the southeast, they did have the regional late model series, the Hunt the Front late model series. They had a double header down at Talladega Short Track, the Bama Bash. They got both nights of racing in, really good turnout. Over 50 late models both nights, and I was surprised. I thought not a lot of people racing. It's a ways down there. I wasn't sure they'd hit 50, but they had a really good turnout, really good quality of cars. And really quick, I'll just give a quick rundown of the results, and then we'll talk about a little bit about it. Night one, the Mac Daddy Dale McDowell parked in victory lane. Zach Mitchell got second. Garrett Alberson third. Fergie Time got fourth, and Ashton Winger fifth. Night number two, Sam Seawright first. Michael Page second. Ryan Gustin third. Corey Hedgecock fourth. Ashton Winger fifth. Now, if you're not a die-hard, late model, all series type of person, right? If you're like World of Outlaw, Lucas Oil, that's kind of your bread and butter, but you don't follow a lot of the regional. A lot of people might not have a clue. Like, who's Sam Seawright? Who's Michael Page? Who's Corey Hedgecock? Who's Zach Mitchell? Who the hell are these guys, right? I mean, they're all regional guys. Hell, really good race car drivers, all of them. Well, guess what? Um, Both nights. I mean, we got to call Dale McDowell a regional guy now because he doesn't follow a series. He was a national guy forever, but both nights the top two spots went to regional guys, right? Some heavy hitters came in. They had Lucas cars, World of Outlaw cars, all there, but the regional guys were absolutely the show. Ashton Winger, the only driver with a pair of top fives on the week. He got fifth both nights, but let's talk about that first night. That was a good race, and Hunt the Front TV is where you find it. And night one, night two wasn't as good. It slicked up, locked down. They just didn't work it enough for night two. Night one was good. That battle up front, that race was really, really good. Zach Mitchell probably should have won that race. And last lap, the old KG veteran Dale McDowell sneaks by. We talked about last week. I'm like, boy, I think Donnie Schatz, just long in the tooth, right? I mean, time catches up with everyone. And then I said, except for Dale McDowell for whatever reason. Sure as hell, he goes out and wins. All right. So I guess I was right on that one. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but I was right there. Um, Boy, did he school him though. He got inside Mitchell with about 2-3 to go. Mitchell took a hard left, tried kind of blocking him down to the infield, and McDowell was patient, kept his nose clean, and drove right around him on the outside on the last lap. It was a thing of beauty. But you have a lot of thoughts on those races. What are your takeaways from the Hunt the Front races down at Talladega?
That race was kind of a snooze fest until you got inside the last 10 there, right? And Zach Mitchell gets into lap traffic, and I thought he navigated the lap traffic pretty doggone good. I mean, he did about as good as you're going to do, and McDowell was just kind of following him around, and he was searching the racetrack as Mitchell was searching the racetrack a little, working the lappers. But I think every bit of it, number one, you've got Dale McDowell behind you. He's a bottom feeder. He's going to the bottom. Mac Daddy showed his nose to the inside a couple times there and probably, put a little fear into him. But he clears all the lappers, and as soon as he cleared the lappers, I thought he had the race won. He drives right to the bottom, and McDowell just rolls through the middle and just drives right by him like he's parked. And I was like, my God, did he pick the wrong lane? Did he not just realize he drove by a lapper through the middle like that? I mean, I was a little dumbfounded because I thought he really was going to win that race once he cleared that last lapper. And McDowell just the KG veteran, right? He worked him down, and just drove around him on the outside.
That shit gives me some bad memories. All right, because Zach Mitchell's a young guy, pretty. He's been in late models a couple years, and of course Dale McDowell's been around dirt late model racing for a long time. Very accomplished, right? And Zach Mitchell had to be thinking in his mind, boy, McDowell showed his nose multiple times on the bottom, I mean, clear inside of him, and he had to be thinking, if I just protect the bottom on this deal, it's Dale McDowell. He ain't going by me on the top. That ain't gonna happen. It's Dale McDowell. So he thought he had it covered, and Dale McDowell's sitting back there. He goes, "All right, I got you to bite. You're gonna block the bottom now, and you're gonna park it down there trying to block the bottom." Well, I remember Silver 1000, my rookie year in a modified, started pretty deep, and I got the lead. And I got by Daryl and Kelly and all them guys, and I'm like, felt pretty good. Couple laps to go, 2-3 to go. Track had some grip in it, and I was better in a super stock on the dry, but I was better in a modified when there was a little food on the track. And Kelly Esty, when the track was slick and a modified, was dang near unbeatable. I mean, he was dominant on the dry, right? So when I got by him when there's grip on the track, I'm like, this shit's over. Like I'm gonna win the Silver 1000 my rookie year in a mod. This is great, right? Couple laps to go. There's a restart. Kelly's behind me, and the top of 3 and 4 was pretty quick. Bottom of 1 and 2, like a lane up, was pretty quick. And I'm thinking in my mind, Zesty, all I got to do is block the bottom in 1 and 2. He ain't gonna go by me up top. I go back to the 3 and 4. His deal's over, right? I go down to the bottom of 1 and 2. There goes Esty. He went by me like my shit was broke on the high side of 1 and 2. I get second. He goes on to win. I'm like, it's Kelly Esty. He never goes to the top ever. Like how does this happen? So that had to be what Zach Mitchell's thinking in that deal, and that's just one of those. So I guess experience paid off there. School's in session for the youngster. That's a free education for him. But pretty good racing down there. A lot of traffic kind of made it a race this first day, but pretty fun stuff. Let me ask you this. So there's several regional late model tours throughout the country, right? In our area, you got the Challenge Series, the NLRA deal in our area, Tri-State, Dirt Kings. Then you got the Hell Tour for super late models. You got the Mars Late Model Series, the Hunt the Front. Right now, I mean, there's a lot of them that they're good for their own reasons, but is the Hunt the Front maybe the most on the rise out of all those series right now?
Oh, I believe so. And you can even go back to that second night last week, right? So Seawright wins that race. Okay. Inside the end of that race, and it was kind of a bottom feeder, maybe taking a little bit of rubber. Gustin was kind of there with him for second, and here comes Page, just drives right under Gustin, and it made it kind of look easy. And so Seawright and Page, who incidentally are teammates, right? They finished 1-2. I believe they're, and I could be wrong on this, but I think Page maybe was on the crew for Seawright at one point in time. And don't quote me on that, but it could be something I've heard in the past. But yeah, I mean, and they've got a bunch of regional guys that have raced in this, and a bunch of these touring guys are racing with these regional guys, and they're not beating them up at all. I mean, um, you know, so the Hunt the Front series, right? We've got the top 5 drivers in the points separated by 12 points, and it's a crapshoot every night, right? The top 10 are separated by 46, and the names change every week. I mean, it's incredible racing, and it's from week to week, you just never know who's going to win. I mean, if we picked it every week, we probably wouldn't get a lot of points because God only knows who's going to win every week.
And that's what makes it fun, right? I mean, you get a lot of these series, you got your one dominant guy or a couple dominant drivers, and there's a lot of parity. And then, of course, when Lucas and World of Outlaws aren't running, they filter in some of these shows as well. And they got some pretty good paying shows. I mean, they got a lot of 20, 30, I think there's some 50 grand to win races. So for a regional series, I mean, they've done a really good job. I believe Joseph Joyner, and I don't know who's all involved, probably his brother, putting that deal together. I think they've done a great job with that Hunt the Front series. So let me ask you this. So I had a fan question here from Alan, um, kind of pertaining to this, right? And he said, you look at the WISSOTA Late Model Challenge Series, and that's the premier series of WISSOTA racing. Because WISSOTA, as its own entity, they only have one traveling series. There's several series in WISSOTA, right? The Dirt Race Central, Street Stock Tour, all that, but that's not a WISSOTA. WISSOTA doesn't run that series. They're WISSOTA events, but that's not their series. The Challenge Series is, right? So you look at it, the Challenge Series last year had 142 cars race at least one show, okay? The Hunt the Front Tour had 183 cars race at least one show. The Mars Series, 149, okay? The Hell Tour, right, which is established, the UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals, been around for a long time. How many cars do you think raced at least one Hell Tour race in 2024?
289.
Well, you're close. You're 275. 275 cars race one. Now, here's the problem, and this is, I follow his sentiments here, and we've talked about this. He goes, but WISSOTA, right? To race the WISSOTA Challenge Series event, you have to be a WISSOTA car. Have to be. Because they have their own set of rules, nothing else like them, and you're not going to get Illinois, Iowa, you're not going to get them drivers kind of filtering in. And a few years back, they tried a deal where they kind of went to that tri-state rule package where they could run the open motor with a restrictor, and they tried that, and I believe it was Don Shaw went to Huron and just give them an absolute ass kicking out there. Okay. And WISSOTA got gun shy, and they're like, oh, we can't let that happen. That deal's done. Well, Don Shaw's kicked ass in a 525 late model too. So it doesn't matter, right? So do you think they made a big mistake by not kind of following along with that and just let's go with that tri-state type rule package to where we can bring in people, because they're on an island, right? They're on an island. So I have some thoughts, but do you think WISSOTA should revisit? This is his question. Should they revisit the idea of going to an open motor type package like Tri-State, Dirt Kings, so on and so forth, where they run the restrictors, and work with the restrictor? Cedar Lake does that on a weekly basis. That's their rule package, and work with it. I don't know what the number is on a restrictor. Maybe they got to do something with the blade a little bit. Maybe they got to do something with the weight. I don't know. But do you think they should work with that to make it to where they're more on that type of rule package?
I mean, I don't even know if that's a question, right? I mean, look at what's happening to WISSOTA late models and WISSOTA in general. Everything's dying down. I think the same goes for late models and modifieds. I mean, you got to have more of a universal rules package. There's guys that come and race, right? There's some big paying shows and there's some prestigious events, and uh, I mean, it's just crazy. I feel like they gave up way too early. If that's the case, Don Shaw goes out there and beats him up one time. I mean, really, that's going to be enough? I mean, we see, Cedar Lake even does it, right? Tri-State does it. Dirt Kings do it, and I mean, it seems to work pretty darn okay with them. I mean, Tri-State, they got, essentially WISSOTA cars winning races in the Tri-State series against guys with open motors. I don't know why it can't be a thing anywhere.
100%. And I know there's a few drivers last year that were pretty upset at right before the Masters. They're like, I'm not going to that deal, right? Because it's not a fair deal. But the proof's in the pudding, right? In my opinion, maybe I'm just an idiot with a mic, right? But wow, we watch enough racing. We've been around this freaking sport to know that it works, right? And we're seeing it with our own eyes. Cedar Lake, they have every show they have has that opportunity. And yeah, did Dustin Sorensen win one of those races at the Masters last year? He sure did. He didn't win three. WISSOTA cars won the other two. Um, Dirt Kings, WISSOTA engines win that deal. Tri-State, they win that. So, boy, Alan, I think absolutely. I think that WISSOTA, that's something they should absolutely revisit. Is kind of working with that, because a couple reasons here, right? If you're a WISSOTA promoter, or if you're a WISSOTA decision maker in this process, is it'd be good for the local guys, right, that want to run open shows. When the Lucas Oil Cars or World of Outlaws come into the area, or the XR Super Series comes into the area, right? Well, do we want our drivers to have WISSOTA engines and open engines? That don't make much sense financially. And I get it. Open engines cost a lot more, but if you don't plan on racing both of them anyway, you don't need it if they restrict them properly. And that would make it so our local guys, they're already running this stuff, and they could just literally take the restrictor off, go race. That'd be better for these bigger shows. Give our guys an opportunity to race for this money. Now, are they going to go out and beat RTJ and Bobby Pierce every night? No. Could they? I'm here to tell you, we got some pretty darn good drivers in WISSOTA late models. Bobby Pierce and RTJ are two of the best, to ever do it. But tell you what, some of these drivers, when if shit is, aligns just right, who knows? Who knows, right? The other thing is, if you're a racetrack promoter, right? If you're a promoter of the track, and you have, let's take the Red Clay Classic this year. Changa, they're paying big money. The 50th annual Red Clay Classic is a big, big payday. I mean, if you look at that whole purse, it's incredible what they're paying. The John Sites Memorial. Oh, Changa left. I don't know what he's got going on here. He'll be right back. I'm jabber John along. He'll be right back. I don't know what he did there. We'll get him back on here. Technical difficulties for Changa. As I'm sitting there talking to myself. See if he can get back on. Changa, what are you doing there, guy?
Apparently, do not disturb did not work.
Yeah, and then you're sliding on things and you close yourself out and now you're all
No,
sideways.
I tried to decline the phone call and it just left me hanging.
Yeah, just ignore it. Gotta look. Technology is great when it works. So back to the red clay. The red
Um,
clay is paying big money. The John Sykes Memorial pays big money. The Wissota 100 pays big money, right? All these races pay big money. So you look at it, and if you're an Iowa car, Nebraska car, right, Illinois car, Indiana car, and you're running, all these places run open motor type stuff. All of them, they all got open motors, right? And if they're looking at that, going, well, we don't really have much going on end of September. Well, shit, Ashland, Wisconsin. Hell, that kind of might be fun. Looks like a good payday. Might be worth checking that deal out, right? Let's head up there. Well, shit, I got an open motor, can't go. Well, all of a sudden they look at it and they're like, well, I have an open motor, but all I got to do is put a restrictor on and make sure I run the proper tires. I'm good to go. You know what? I think I'm gonna go check that out. That used to happen back like when we were really little kids, right? That used to happen. They used to get Iowa cars and all that coming up to the Labor Day shootout. That never happens anymore. So, boy, I think that should be revisited, and I think it would make Wasota late model racing significantly better. But I guess that's just my spots. You're looking at the TV there. What do we
yeah,
got? Well, give
I'm
me
just
give us an update. Give us an update on the score. I know you're watching hockey. Give us an update.
welcome back, Joel Eriksson Ek, his fourth goal of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
So the Wild's winning now, or what?
7-4.
Jesus! All right, 4 goal game. Welcome back. All right, awesome,
Welcome
awesome.
back.
So,
Guess you're healthy.
any closing thoughts on the late Wasota late models adopting the open motor with a restrictor type option? Any closing thoughts on that?
It's like, I don't know, many years overdue. I don't even know what the holdup is, what the wait's all about. I mean, the second Cedar Lake did it, you probably should have done it.
That might be the reason they didn't, right? They might be looking at it going, we they're for whatever reason, them two can't play nice together. It's just too bad because Wissota as a whole could really use Cedar Lake.
Oh,
Cedar
you
Lake
think?
is still the mecca. I mean, and when Wissota was at its strongest, Cedar Lake was part of it. And boy, I don't know if them days will ever happen again, but if they adopted that engine package, I'm here to tell you, there would be an absolute possibility for it to happen. I think that is only the I think that is the determining factor to make that change, probably in the modifieds as well. So let's give a shout out here. Daytona One Performance Lubricants. So our buddy Buck, founder of this great company, best in the industry. I tell you what, I mean, if you haven't checked out their products, jump on their Facebook page, go to their website. They got a lot of stuff. I mean, anything in the lubricant industry, they have a lot of stuff. Buck, very intelligent in the Hall of Fame for NASA, specifically for lubricants. Changa, he's the only person in the NASA Hall of Fame for lubricants. He's the only person, right? NASA is a big deal, right? Aerospace type deal. So, with that said, some of the products they have, right? They have, engine oils, they have assembly lube, power steering fluid, they got all that. They got tire treatments, tire cleaners, so many great products. Give Chad a call. If you want to talk about some of this stuff and learn more about it, give Chad a call. His number 507-828-3536. I know Nick Hoff over at Hard Charger Performance, I guess it's Performance Specialties now, I think is it is. He actually Performance Engines, he kind of changed his name on it because he does more than engines. He sponsored the show. He partnered up with us for a season, and he's used their products. And he says, I'm using their assembly lube, and he said it's fantastic. He goes, they have some great products out there, so it's good to have that testimony, of course, from Nick. But give them a call, check it out. And I know their tire treatments. I get it. It's not legal in Wissota racing to use tire treatments, but if you're doing test nights, if you're doing practice nights, and you don't want to wear out a brand new set of tires, you can use them tire treatments on those tires to get real life out of them, to get real testing sessions. And if you're a budget racer and you're like, I'm gonna roll the dice, I can't afford to pay that kind of money for tires, but I'll take a chance. Well, Chad would be the guy to call. That's 507-828-3536. Give Chad a call, Daytona 1 Performance Lubricants. So thanks a lot to them. So that a new little segment of the show. WISSOTA season it's here, right? WISSOTA season starts this weekend, and I want to talk some WISSOTA racers. We did the power rankings over we haven't done them in a while. Back when I wasn't trucking and I was at home and all that. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Like to give shout outs to our drivers, and kind of had an idea come to us from a couple people with some discussions, and they said, what if we just did a deal where you had, imagine a universe to start the season where you had, if WISSOTA had say a 20 race series throughout all of WISSOTA land, but it was invite only, right? Let's say that it was an invite only deal, top 24 drivers chartered in from last year. Who would you have in the field, right? And this week we're going to do mods. We were going to start with late models, but Bert, busy week at work this week, so he'll be back with us next week. He's a big late model guy. We want to make sure he's here to talk late models. But let's start with modifieds. So if you take the WISSOTA region, we're going to count Cedar Lake. I know they're not a WISSOTA track, but it's mostly WISSOTA type racing at Cedar, right? I get it. They have some USRA cars show up as well. But we're going to count Cedar Lake in that as well, if there's some Cedar Lake drivers. But if we had a WISSOTA region modified series, top 24 drivers, and we'll go back and forth, we'll snake draft it. If you want to start, you can, then I'll go twice.
It doesn't even matter. It's just it's gonna get tough when we get to the end, but
it is. And I got a list here. So 24 modifieds. And to preface this, there's a handful of drivers here that maybe only run 6-8 shows a year, but when some specials happen, they pop in, right? If they're normal series.
This isn't all about who's going to win the most races in a mod. It's if they were all running 20 in a mod against each other.
Yep, we're putting together a series. We're taking 20 WISSOTA racetracks. We're putting 24 drivers on the list. These are the only 24 drivers that are going to come. They're going to run 3 heat races. That's going to determine the lineup for the feature. There's no B mains. 24 cars, invite only, and it could be like, hey, who do you think's going to win the most? Who do you think? But we're putting together the starting grid. We'll talk about that in a second. We're putting together the starting grid. What drivers would you want? Go ahead. You start first.
I'll take Shane Sabraski.
Boy, you're a homer. He's terrible. Never won a race before. You're going to pick a guy that doesn't know how to win? All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Needs no explanation, right?
Low-lying fruit right there. Shane Sabraski. I'll take low-lying fruit as well, and I will take the 1 TPO of Tyler Peterson.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to go back, and I'll go, I guess we don't have to snake draft it necessarily. We'll just take turns. So
I'll snipe you and take Buzzy.
Okay, all right. You did snipe me. I changed my mind. We're going to go snake draft. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Kevin Buzzy Adams. All right. I am going to head west. Guy doesn't race a ton of WISSOTA modified events, more focused on late model. But I'm going to take Dustin Strand.
He's on my list somewhere on here. Yep, there he is. I'll cross him off. So we're talking everybody together. Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to throw a name out there, and I don't even know if no, I'm down. You know what? No, we'll save that. I might be able to use that later. Oh, where do we want to go? Boy, you know what? I'm going to go with a young gun, and I'm going to go down the list, and this might be way too early, but I'm going to go Caden Blazer, because I know he's one of your guys you'd want to take.
Yeah, absolutely. House car driver this year, MB Customs, well deserved. His dad, former WISSOTA 100 modified champion. I tell you what, he is absolutely one of the young guns. Keep an eye on him this year. He's going to win a lot of races. Caden Blazer, very good pick. Um, I I'm going to take a guy that sneaks in and runs probably the 100. He'll run a handful of shows, and I wish he ran more WISSOTA modified stuff. I really do. And I know a lot of guys that race against him probably would not like this very much because he'd win a lot. But I'm going to take Landon Atkinson.
Okay, I gotta find him. He's on my list.
Another one. He's not quite as young, of course, as Caden Blazer, but he's not very old either. Atkinson he's definitely a wheelman.
So my next one, I don't know if he even counts, but would Dan Ebert even count?
If I took Landon Atkinson, Ebert counts because I think probably run roughly the same. Ebert might even run a little bit more than him, so I'll give you Ebert. And I don't know if I would assume that he'll probably still run some modified stuff this year. I would guess. We know that his focus right now is the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series. But Dan Ebert he's ran a lot of WISSOTA stuff. So um, if you're paying enough money for this little series we're putting together, Changa, he probably would run it. So
Fair enough.
he'd probably be there. I'm gonna take. I guess you know what I'm gonna take the reigning WISSOTA modified national champion and rookie of the year. I'm gonna take Cole Chernosky. Chernosky's the guy, Changa, that a lot of people looked at and they're like, he races Thunder Bays up there, blah blah blah. He's not. When he came out of the States, I mean, he went to Rice Lake, he won. He went to Menominee, he's won, right? I mean, he's come down to the States and raced against the drivers that he's competing against. He traveled well. He traveled very well. So Chernosky, very talented. I said this on the show last year. I said, is David Simpson and Cole Chernosky the modern day Tom Nesbitt, Joel Kreiderman? And they got a lot of winning yet to do to catch up to that resume, of course, right? But that's kind of their guys up there. When those two guys head down from Thunder Bay to the States, they're gonna contend for wins. Period. No matter where they go. So Chernosky on my list.
All right, I guess my next guy. So many places to go, and so many guys that have won a lot of races. But I'm going to go with someone I guess we'd consider an older guy, but someone that still knows how to win. I'll go with Dave King.
I am gonna absolutely snipe you because I thought you were gonna say this, but you did not. An older guy still knows how to win. Versatile. Track could be choppy, cushion, dry. He's good on it all. The guy that when you're leading and there's a green white checkered restart and he's second, you don't want him behind you because he's going where you're not. I'm going to take the Hermantown Hammer, Daryl Nelson.
All right, all right. I guess with my next one, I guess we'll go with the other guy that was really good in WISSOTA land last year. How about Mike Stearns?
Yeah, old Superman. He's going to run, I think he's going to go double duty, probably
Yep.
do triple duty on the, they got a memorial race out there for the Super Stocks. He's probably going to go triple duty that night. But Mike Stearns, good pick, old Superman. I never forget. We're buddies now. I get along with Stearns pretty good now. But we were out to his rookie year in the Super Stock. I don't think you were there. We went out to Jamestown, and you're looking at the score there. What happened?
It was 7-4. It's now 7-6. And
Jeez.
Macklin Celebrini, the rookie of the year this year, probably, or contender for rookie of the year, has got his hat trick also.
Oh boy, how much time left?
Oh my God! If I wasn't blind, I'd be able to tell you, but a lot. There's a lot of third period left to go.
Wow, they must not have goalies. They just got them white boards with.
No, I mean Flowers showing his age tonight. No doubt, no question about it. The Wild have got well over 40 shots, and
Oh boy.
but that was pretty. That there was nothing the goalie could do on that one.
All right, so we're out in Jamestown. My family used to come over there from Montana, my cousin and her kids, and we go out in the heat race, and we're racing out in the heat race, and I don't remember what happened, but in my mind, Stearns caused, he's causing some mayhem, and my shit got tore up. I bent the rear end housing, and I am getting like third in the heat, but my housing was bent, trailing arm, and I was pissed. I went down there and I just chewed him a new ass. And we used to kind of go at it on the old 2020 page, Delphi forums. And I chewed him a new ass and I'm just unleashing on him. I was mad. And I ended up changing the housing in the parking lot and all that. And I come back the next day and he did graphic. He still does. He does graphics. He literally took his back panel, flipped it on backwards, and it said "Don't be an a-hole" on his back panel. I'm like, you fucker. And it's kind of funny. And yeah, I end up
That's
coming
not
from
the
I
first,
come from
second,
deep. I
third.
won that deal. I come from deep. So I got the last laugh. I won that deal from deep, but Stearns has turned into a hell of a good race car driver. So solid pick there for Changa. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take a guy that when that track slicks up,
Oh,
and he's good when it's sticky. He's getting better when it's sticky now too. Kind of had a reputation if it got too rough and sticky, I'm probably not going to race. I'm probably going to pull off, right?
sugar smokiness.
I am going to take the North Shore Nightmare. I'm going to take Jody B. Alphabet, Jody Belfi, and boy, I tell you what, sharp look. He's got. I don't like red, just not my thing.
Pretty. Oh, it is pretty.
He has a really good looking hot rod. Buzzy does really nice work on that, of course. So we'll take Jody Belfi with my sixth pick. So pick number 7. So
Oh,
6 rows of cars lined up here. We got 6 rows to go. We're halfway through. Little recap here. So Changa so far has the Iron Man, Shane Sabraski. He's got the human highlight reel, Kevin Buzzy Adams. He's got the kid, Caden Blazer, Dan Ebert. He's got Candy Kane, Dave Kane, and he's got Superman, Mike Stearns. I got the one TPO. I got Tyler Peterson. I got Dustin Strand, Landon Atkinson, Cole Chernosky, Daryl Nelson, and Jody Belfi right now. So 6 rows to go. What do you got next?
wow. All right. I'm so conflicted right now. But after you just did Belfi, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't go for one of his nemesis and go with a guy that can just rail the high side and Clayton Wagaman.
That was actually I had him on my very short list for next. So Clayton Wagaman is quick. Of course, his father-in-law Jay McDonald builds them JMR chassis, and Wagaman is super fun to watch. They had that XR Super or XR Northern Storm, and he was pretty dominant in that a couple years ago, and super fun to watch, especially down on Ogilvy when he just putting that right rear quarter panel up on the fence. But he travels well too. He runs really well at Superior. He put on a show in Ashland a couple years ago as well. So Clayton Wagaman, a solid pick there. I am gonna take. I can cross off Ebert
I
there
know
for you.
exactly where you're going here.
You do you?
Yep.
You think so?
Yep. You'll probably change your mind now, but I think I know where you're going.
I'm gonna take another young gun. Take another young gun, second generation driver from Villard, Minnesota. I'm gonna take Mullet Nation, Ryan Gerke. Ryan Gerke, super fun to watch in that 26. And he travels well as well. He actually I remember he ran really well at the Mod Wars that USMTS show a couple years back. Belfi did as well, but Gerke ran really well there. I remember watching him put on a hell of a show at Fergus. One of the young guns in the sport. Keep an eye on Ryan Gerke this year.
All right. Well, I would be absolutely not proud of myself if I didn't take this guy next. He's one of my favorite guys to watch race. He's a high side hustler. He can pound the ruts. He can pound the rough. I'm gonna take my boy Johnny Broking.
Yeah, I figured that was the 45J. And another guy kind of putting the focus mostly on the late model, but of
Mhm.
course he still runs mods. Last year they did have a little bit of engine trouble, so they were limited down to one mod. And but his dad and him both run right out of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, up there. Johnny Broking, again, another guy at Fergus Falls. He put on a really good show in one of the races that him and TPO had a hell of a battle. But I remember the Wissota 100 that nobody watched because it was literally freaking 2 o'clock in the morning, and he came from 25th to second. It was impressive. That was probably the most fun I ever had watching a race, was him carve his way through the pack from deep, and it was cowboy up, and that was absolutely fun to watch. So Johnny, a good pick. I'm gonna take I am gonna take a guy that, if this deal paid enough, he'd race. Now, rumor has it that he's not racing this year. Rumor has it that he's going to be his right hand man, pit guy for Dan Ebert on their Lucas Oil late model deal. But as a rookie in the modified, he came up to the Silver 1000 and put on an absolute clinic up there, and he won. He's won multiple races on a very limited schedule. Guy that doesn't really race a lot of shows, never really has. I'm going to take Justin Fremming in the 33X. Super fun guy to watch. Justin Fremming.
That was on my list too.
All right. 4 picks left for both of us here to fill out the field. Pick number 9 for Changa. What do you got?
Well, I guess I'm going to go with someone that's a versatile race car driver that's probably given some of the top guys, or at least one of them, more fits than anybody. I'm going to go with Mike Anderson.
Good pick. Solid. SSR number 57, Mike Anderson from Wisconsin, and guy's won a ton of races. I mean, he's been doing it a long time, but he has won an absolute ton of races. And watching him and Buzzy put on a show night after night over at Rice Lake, was that last year? I think it was last year. They had a lot of good races. Mike Anderson, very good. I'm going to take a guy that was one of my old rivals in the Superstock class. Guy from central Minnesota. I'm going to take old Dandy Don, the Iceman, Don Ishins. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him with my 9th pick. Another guy, multiple time national champion in Wissota. Travels well. He's won literally everywhere and everything. Whether it's super stock, modifieds, you name it. Don Ishins, really, really good race car driver. All right, number 10.
Oh, well, if I don't take him eventually, I would feel bad. So I'm going to go with one of our local boys, and I'm going to take Brandon Kopp.
I knew he'd be coming off the list soon here. Brandon Kopp. Kopp, another guy, races a lot of shows. He gets his wins usually right around that double digit mark. Runs extremely well. He kind of goes everywhere. We see. I mean, he's a guy that you could very well see early in the season racing at tracks that are unfamiliar to him, just because he wants to get out there and get after it. And I really like Brandon Kopp too, because he's one of the old school racers. And I'm not saying all these guys don't work hard, but tell you what, him and his dad, they put in a lot of time. They don't have that $1 million budget behind them, so they build a lot of their own stuff. And super fun seeing one of them lower budget guys have a lot of success. So Brandon Kopp, a solid pick. I'm gonna take. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go Western. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, and I got another guy on my list. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. I'm gonna take a driver that races over Monty Madison. That's kind of his stomping grounds over there. And you don't know who I'm gonna pick. I don't believe. I
Well,
don't. I don't think you do. I think you. I think you think you know. And
All right, fair enough. I'll tell you if I do.
Nate Heinrichs.
He's definitely on my list.
Yep, Nate Heinrichs. Now, there's about 3 of them over there that really sparked my interest. But Nate Heinrichs, he took some time off. And last year, he come back. I think he won a track championship last year after taking some time off. And it was just like riding a bike. It did not take him long to get back in the saddle of that thing. And was absolutely, I figured you'd be thinking that guy.
7 feature wins.
He had 7 last year. I tell you what, after I don't know how many years he took off, it was several in a row, But Heinrichs to get back behind the wheel, knock off 7 wins last year, I think he's got to be the number one guy over in kind of that west central Minnesota, Montevideo, Madison area. So I'm going to take Nate. 2 rows to complete the field here. We're probably going to hurt some feelings because I got a couple here that we should probably pick. We're getting really conflicted now because I still have about 15 on my list.
I've got probably 10. My next guy I'm going to go with is going to be Brady Gertis.
That's a solid pick. Brady Gertis, what is that? Is that the 2X? The 2X machine, another driver from Villard. 2 very small town over there. 2 really good race car drivers with Ryan Gerke and of course Brady Gertis. I tell you what, you put him, mostly runs Fergus Falls and Viking Speedway, pretty much in the top 3 every single night. Kraus is very, very quick to say Brady most of the time needs to grow a set of balls, he says, because he does not like to bang up that pretty right rear quarter panel. One of the best looking cars, blue and yellow, obviously fast, blue and yellow, right? But his shit looks really good, super clean. He'll throw the slider, he'll do that, but he's not a guy that's usually gonna tear up his equipment to do it. Probably be a little bit more fun to watch if he did, but I don't know. That probably gets a little expensive nowadays too. So Brady Gertis, solid pick. I got 2 picks left. My second one here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I cross him off. Oh, I'm gonna take another guy here that Central Minnesota, Ogilvie, Princeton. I'm gonna take JT Johnson. JT Johnson, not a guy that you hear a lot about, but if you go to them tracks, he's always in the top 5. He's always another JMR car. JT Johnson, another guy that deserves to be in this field.
Okay.
All right, so boy, there's still some good hot rods. Now, one thing I noticed is modifieds is it's not real top heavy, right? There's a few that are just kind of like obviously you're gonna pick Shane, you're gonna pick Buzzy, TPO, right? But I wouldn't say, looking at this field of cars, I wouldn't say that any one of these drivers is just light years ahead. I think that there's a lot of parity. There's not one dominant driver out there. So 12th row.
Is this my last pick?
This is your last pick.
Oh shit! Because there's some people that I want. There's more that I wanted to do.
Yeah, we'll mention the honorable mentions after, but
So there's a couple that I want to do, maybe even ahead of this person. But this person I have to take because it would only be right if I took Swan.
Huh?
Kennedy Swan.
Kennedy Swan. That would definitely be good for. I tell you what, she is due to win some races. She's got a really fast hot rod. That car is really good, and she has really good car control. She was super fast in the Midwest Mod. She's consistently there, right? She's the only WISSOTA mod driver to make the big deal last year down at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and several mod drivers went. She made it, and from what I understand, they kind of made probably a decision. From what I understand, sources tell me that they made a carburetor change to kind of do to kind of help with, I think, fuel mileage, basically more than anything, and it kind of killed her power for the feature and kind of set her behind the 8 ball. If not for that, she might have been top 5 car. But Kennedy Swan, very fun to watch her race. So, boy, oh boy, oh boy. So you got Swan. I took JT Johnson off the list. So, boy, you take. I mean, there's a couple young guns still in here. There's
West.
Huh?
Almost everything left on my list is Central and West, other than one.
Yeah, I got kind of western Minnesota over here. I got South Dakota. I got
Mhm.
I got a couple South Dakota representatives that probably should be on the list. I got boy, this is we got some honorable mentions. We're gonna hurt some feelings here, Tonga, I tell you.
Oh, it's great.
Well, do you take a guy that's really good on his home turf? Do you take some? I'm gonna look at my list here and try to find a driver that there's not a lot left on here that really travel a lot. Um,
Mm,
I tell you what,
be a homer.
no, no, I'm gonna I am gonna take, just out of respect for the title, I'm gonna take a guy that has multiple national championships.
Garland.
It's showtime. You're right. Kent Arment. I'm going to take him to close out the field here. So before we get into our closing deal, so I got here's some. Give me your honorable mentions. Who did you still have on your list?
Joe Thomas,
Joe Thomas. Yep. Yep.
Dusty Bitson,
Dusty Bitson.
Ward Emery.
Ward Emery.
Yeah, 11 features last year.
Right.
Um, Jason Tennis,
JT. Yep.
Dale Ames.
Dale Ames. Didn't he make the trip to Ashland and won one over there a couple years ago? So he traveled well. Dale Ames. Yep.
Is it Travis Sauer?
Travis Sauer.
And Bobby Broken.
Brian Hobbin.
Yep.
Brian Hobbin's another one. Shane Halopka.
Mhm.
Cole Spacek. Andrew Inman.
Yep. On my list.
Jeremy Nelson in the 4.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Aaron Blacklance. Jake Hartung. Jack Reboard I had. Nick Oreskovich. So, I mean, oh yeah, there's some solid ones. So here's what we ended up. Here's what we ended up for our starting lineup, Tonga. So in no particular order, but we'll just do the order that we did it. Chonga's 12 picks: Shane Sabraski, Kevin Adams, Caden Blazer, Dan Ebert, Dave Kane, Mike Stearns, Clayton Wagaman, Johnny Broking, Mike Anderson, Brandon Kopp, Brady Gertis, and Kennedy Swan. My 12, I have Tyler Peterson, Dustin Strand, Landon Atkinson, Cole Chernosky, Daryl Nelson, Jody Belfi, Ryan Gerke, Justin Fremming, Don Eichens, Nate Heinrichs, JT Johnson, and Kent Arment. I'm here to tell you that 24 car field of cars right there, if they traveled well, would be worth the price of admission to watch. And if a few of them decided that hey, we're out on this deal, whatever, there's still a handful of good ones. I got to be honest. I started this project and I'm like, God, it's hard to come up with 24 in the mods. I'm thinking because you know the walls have closed in on Wissota modified racing, right? I mean, there's not a Wissota modified track in North Dakota, in Montana, in Wyoming. They don't even exist, right? Thunder Bay's, you got Thunder Bay and Emo up
Well,
in Canada, huh?
Kreiderman.
Right, Joel Kreiderman, right? Um, so you look at it, Southern Minnesota no longer there. Most of Wisconsin no longer there, right? So with USRA and IMCA and all that, it's a lot of it's really split. But I tell you what, that would be one hell of a field of modifieds right there. And I don't know, maybe, right? I mean, we got you got the deal at Ogilvy, right? The big deal at Ogilvy this year. And I would, there's going to be a lot of Wasota cars at that deal. Every one that I just mentioned should be there. Because there's going to be some USRA cars, right? USMTS. Sure, Dillard probably make the trip. But Ogilvy, Wasota cars can win that race. Wasota cars can 100% win that race. But I think we put together a pretty darn solid field of cars. I don't know. And if the fans are bored, put in the comments below which team of mine or Chonga's would win the most races. If it was 20 no throwouts, whose team would have more points? I got to be honest with you. There's a couple on your list there that run really good. I don't know that they can keep it together for 20 without self-inflicting wounds. I'm not
It's a
going to say
who can
who.
go up and win though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got Buzzy and Blazer and Ebert and I got freaking Atkinson and TPO Strand Hammer, right? So I don't
Right.
I don't think I
Yeah.
don't think that there's a weak link. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I just don't see a weak link in here. I think it would be that'd be really fun. I think that was kind of a fun deal. We're gonna do that for all the classes, but that's our top 24 right there for the modifieds if we were to put a series together. So, any closing thoughts on that, Changa, before we jump on to the next segment here?
No, not at all. I mean, I thought that was, I shouldn't say not at all. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait till Kennedy Swan beats all the boys.
She's due, right? She's been running good, a lot of top
Yeah.
fives. I
Right.
feel like she's that. We might have to make a bold prediction or two, including her in the not so distant future here. All right,
Right.
so I want to give a shout out to our friend Brad Parson, Brad Parson Soil and Ag Solutions. So if you're in Western Minnesota, the Dakotas, planting season here, right? It's right here, right? Cold weather's going away. Planting season is right here. Well, what do you need to have a good harvest at the end of the year? Well, you need the right chemicals. You need the right stuff in those spray packages, is what you need to get better yields. Better yields equals more money in your pockets. Now, I don't know shit about farming. I'll be the first one to tell you that, but Brad Parsons been doing this for quite a while. He's works with a lot of people. He's got a lot of data points. It's worth giving him a call at 320-219-3542 to learn about the products that he has that can help you with your spray packages. He's a racer. He wants to help people that are in the racing community. If you're in farming, why not give him a call to see what he can do for you? That's Brad Parson, Soil and Ag Solutions. So, Brad and myself with Impact Health Sharing, Worker B. Kent, Dano, Curtis, right? We call him Rain Man. We put some money together. We did a pay it forward deal 2024 and ended up being $1,500 that we decided that we're gonna slide that forward to a driver and we're gonna sponsor that driver. And the winner of our Pick'ems contest, Curtis, yeah, raising your hand over there. That was not you. You got third. Okay. Oh, wild win. Wild win.
Real Kaprizov in overtime.
Did he really? All right. Nice. Nice. Much needed win for the Wild. So our two best players for the Wild coming back. So needless to say, Curtis won. He got to pick the driver, and we talked about it on the show last week. He picked Ty Agan. Changa, that was crazy. So me and Changa meet up. We're over in Superior and we're bullshitting over at Quick Trip and we're talking and lo and behold, Ty Agan's parents come up and they're like, "Hey, we listen to the show all the time. How you guys doing?" And we start talking. We're like, "Yeah, we sponsored Ty. I'm gonna give him some money." And he's like, "Oh man, that sucks. Sold the car, delivering the car. Ty, good luck to Ty Agan. Another young gun, 18-year-old. We're gonna miss him. I hope he comes back soon. He's a hell of a race car driver. Really fun to watch him in that street stock. But he got a new job. Sounds like a really good one. Traveling welder and doing what not most of us racers do. He's deciding that he wants to be that responsible person and go make some money and that's not the American way. You want to go into a lot of debt. That's what I did. And no, just kidding. Good luck to you. So, needless to say, Curtis had to pick another driver, and He went with another driver that I feel is a outstanding pick. Wanted to kind of focus on the young guns, right? And you want to focus on somebody that's going to race a lot of shows. It's kind of the theory, it's kind of somebody that we can follow, that's going to race a lot and hopefully contend. Ty Agan was certainly going to be that guy, but Blake Adams is also going to be that guy, right? Third generation racer from Cameron, Wisconsin. And of course, one thing, Curtis is like, well, what do you think? Can I pick Blake? And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. Dave Adams, Adams Automotive, Buzzy Adams, right? Of course, with, Buzz Signs and Graphics, both of them helped me out personally in my racing endeavors. They've sponsored a lot of people, helped a lot of people. So I have no issue at all with him paying that forward and choosing Blake Adams to be the driver that we're sponsoring for the 2025 racing season. Sounds like he's going to run a little bit in an A mod. Focus, of course, is going to be in the WISSOTA Midwest mod, and Focus is going to be trying to get the national championship in that. Changa stepped away for a minute. He's going to be right back. And I know there's some Wisconsin people on here. In fact, Curtis is one, and this is going to be really, really painful for Curtis because I think he may have forgot this. But Blake is a Wisconsin person as well, but Blake happens to be a Minnesota Vikings fan. In fact, he has probably the coolest helmet in all of WISSOTA racing. He has a Minnesota Vikings themed helmet, and he says, "You know what? I might have to go ahead and put the One to Go Show sticker right there on the side of my Vikings helmet just for Curtis." So we're excited.
Nice.
We're really excited to partner up with Blake for the 2025 season. He's super fun to watch. Good luck to him, and hopefully we can see that One to Go Show 40D in Victory Lane very, very soon. So Kraus leading the points right now. Changa, you and I still tied for we're tied for second. Jeff did not send him over. Super busy week this past weekend. We only had one event anyway, so he's going to update the points here the next week. But Kraus actually, we did brackets for March Madness. He ain't here, so we don't spend much time. But Kraus won the brackets. Um, yeah, I know. So here's the deal. I picked Duke. If Duke would have won and they wouldn't have choked away the semifinal game, I would have won the brackets. And instead, they choked away. I think it's rigged. For
It
two
was
reasons.
rigged. It was obvious it was rigged. I mean,
Houston's in Texas, so was the Final Four. They obviously wanted a Texas team, and Kraus probably threw some money at him. All that hockey money he's got probably threw some money at him. So, but Quentin, fan of the show, they did a bracket challenge at Montevideo last year. Quentin won that bracket challenge. He says Kraus might have won your brackets, but he got his ass absolutely murdered in the Montevideo brackets. So he says he ain't as good as he thinks he is basically what Quentin said. And yeah, so this weekend, a lot of racing coming up. I'm going to ask you this. What race are you looking forward to most and why?
do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Well, it's hard because I wanted to name like three of them. So what I'm looking forward to is getting the hell out of the southeast and getting onto some good old fashioned Midwest bull rings, right? And I guess I'll I'll
You know what?
start
I'm going to go
with,
first. I'm going to take the Illini 100. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Go
well, that's where I'm going.
ahead.
I'll start with Farmer City, right? It's obvious. Um, a little bull ring in Illinois where we're gonna get some, get all the World of Outlaws guys. We're gonna get a couple of the premier Lucas guys, and um, if you guys remember last year, the photo finish with Hoffman and Pierce, Hoffman off the track, and nobody knew who won, and then to go along with it, then you got the Mars mods at the same place, the same time with all them heavy hitters. It's definitely what I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, Illini 100, Farmer City, Illinois, and it's going to be Friday, Saturday, of course, on Dirt Vision. You're going to want to check that out. I'm outside chance. It's only a couple hours away. I should probably go to one of them races. We'll see. Um,
Right.
I should probably go, but I've never been there. I know Dan Filto's been there. He said it's outstanding, but the Illini 100 is going to be great. I'll take a bull ring as well. just a little bit south of there. World of Outlaw Sprint Car, I-55, double header for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, and that is gonna. I don't know. Maybe you might have a few high limit guys come in because I don't think they race this weekend. They're off, so. But that's another badass bull ring right now. Yeah, I guess we got Rico apparel on. Sounds like Rico's going, so I think
Yep.
he's going to be there. But I-55 is absolutely outstanding. I've driven by there many times, just south of St. Louis, Peevely, Missouri. That's also on Dirt Vision. So them are the two races. Now I will add this: we're not picking these races, but if we're gonna go, what am I looking forward to most on the national scene? It's those two events. But what am I looking forward to most? It's our local stuff. I'm looking forward to Cedar Lake. I'm looking forward to Devil's Lake. I will be watching both of those as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to some local racing. So that's what we're looking forward to. We were gonna talk about who we picked, but our picks aren't due until tomorrow, and our show's going to be up because Puka's going to post it in the morning. It's Wednesday night. He should have it up Thursday morning, and we don't need frickin' Kraus cheating any more than he already does by listening to who we picked and then making changes. So, too bad, Kraus. Okay, pick your own shit. Okay, we're not going to let you cheat like that. So, I guess we'll just have to wait till the picks come out. So, bold predictions. So it's just it's me, you, and I got Uper's picks. Our statistician there, Uper from up in the UP, don't you know, up in the middle of Lake Superior up there. He's got his predictions. So every single week we make three racing related predictions, and once we get a few of these under the way here for the 2025 season, we'll come back out with our stats and kind of follow up, let you know where everybody's at. But Changa, I'm going to let you go first. Okay, I'll let you go first, and then I have Uper's predictions, and then I have my own predictions as well. Go ahead. What's your first prediction?
All right. So this week in the races that we've picked, we've got five of the things we've picked. There is back-to-back nights of racing. Okay. My first one is two of the five will have someone double up.
At exactly two of the five, or at
Two or
least
more, two
two?
or more will have someone double up.
So at least two of the five events that we're picking,
Yes.
the winner will win night one and night two of
And
the
that also counts with Reynolds. Reynolds can wash it. I'm willing to say it's a loss if something
yeah.
rains.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously they didn't double up if they only won one and one canceled, so that's fair enough. So both races got to happen, and let's just hope Mother Nature does not win this weekend. All right, Uper's first prediction here. So 60 XR 602 Nationals, Fayetteville, North Carolina this weekend. 50,000 to win for the 602 late models. Okay, the entire podium for the A main is going to be super late model drivers that have at least one win in either the World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil, or Hunt the Front series. So there being super late model drivers that have at least one win in one of those three series. And Chang, I gotta be honest, I looked at the list. There's only a handful of them drivers even in the field of cars. So I
That
don't.
have a win for sure. You got
Yeah.
Hedgecock,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Who-
they might have won. They might have won some regional super late model stuff, but that one,
else?
I think Hedgecock maybe did.
Yeah, Big Perm did not.
Zach Mitchell maybe. No, Big Perm has a Lucas.
Did he get a Lucas win this year?
No, he not that they have a win this year. That they have one. Period.
Oh, okay. So Big
But
Perm.
there's still only like five or
Oh,
six of them, right?
okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
there's not many in there. You got Hedgecock, probably Zach Mitchell. I think maybe has one. Whitener might have one, right? Dalton Wilson for sure, but there's not many. So that's a tall task. I think he might have bit off more than he can chew on that one. Um, speaking of XR, I'm gonna go Hibbing Raceway.
Nice.
Hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Okay, but so XR, Barry Braun, They're the new promoters up at the Hibbing Raceway, Hibbing, Minnesota. And he essentially said, season's not starting until new clay, right? A lot of improvements that they want to do, catch fans, all that. But at the same time, they scheduled the season opener for like the first week of May, right? So it's like way earlier than normal, okay? Now, looking at what's going on, it's northern Minnesota. Weather is not cooperative. He's down in North Carolina right now. And all the stuff that they have to do, Hibbing Raceway is not going to have a race until at least June 1st. Their season they will not host a race at the Hibbing Raceway in May. That is my first prediction. It will be June before their season opens at the earliest. Could be later. They got a lot of shit to do there. Whole place is tore apart. You got a lot of big plans. He wants to do it right, but boy, I tell you what, tall task to get it done in that fast of a time. Now he could prove me wrong. We'll find out. But that's my prediction. What's your second one?
Okay, so last year, Cedar Lake's opener. Okay. The winners were Matthew Larson. He won the Pro Stocks and the USRA late models. Okay. Sammy Mars won the late model. Tayton Hansen won the mods. Brandon Jensen won the Midwest mods. Okay. Two of them five will repeat this year.
Okay. So two of the
if it's Matthew Larson winning two, that counts.
At least two of the five again?
At least two.
Least. Okay, not specifically two. So
at least two.
At least two of the five that won opening night last year at the Cedar Lake Speedway will again win this year at the Cedar Lake Speedway at their opener. Okay. All right. Uper's second prediction, Illini 100. So the podiums in the late models, World of Outlaw late models, 2 nights of racing. So that's obviously 6 available podium positions. Okay. 4 of the podium positions of the 6, specifically 4 of the 6, will be Illinois drivers. However, neither of those will be the winner. So second and third, both nights, are going to be Illini drivers.
Well, that is bold as hell.
That is bold. Second, so specifically second and third place.
So essentially 4 out of 4.
Yeah. That is, that's not 4 out of 6. That's 4 out of 4 because he said neither win. So specifically, second and third place will be Illinois-based drivers.
Wow.
That's bold. All right. That's not even his boldest. Next one's bolder, I think. All right. I'm gonna go National Sprint Car Touring Series. David Gravel is gonna have a higher win percentage in 2025 in the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars than Brad Sweet has in the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Both of those two are the dominant drivers, but David Gravel will be more dominant when it comes to wins. So Gravel's win percentage in the World of Outlaws is going to be higher than Brad Sweet's in the High Limits.
I mean, let's be honest. He's already got like way more wins than Sweet does, but okay.
All right.
Because my next one's a bunt too, maybe. Maybe not. I mean, but. All right. So I'm going to go with the combination of Bobby Pierce, Nick Hoffman, Ryan Gustin has a better average finish than RTJ, Devin Moran, and Garrett Elverson at the Illini 100.
Moran going?
Yes, he's confirmed.
Okay. So Pierce, Hoffman, Gustin, higher average finish than the combination of RTJ, Moran, Alverson.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that's necessarily a bunt. That place, the moisture in that place.
Just one DNF to wreck everything.
That's all it takes. Yeah, and you got with Gustin in there, he's probably the most likely of the bunch to kind of be the wild card, right? He could easily win one of them nights, but he could easily dump it off the ending at 18th too. So, all right. Uper's third and final prediction. I'm not sure which one is bolder, his last one or this one. 10-time World of Outlaw sprint car champion Donnie Schatz will have a pair of podiums this week at I-55. Donnie Schatz gonna get his season really going with that Chevy underneath the hood now. Back-to-back podiums for the 15. All right, so I got. I'm gonna go. I want one to come off here this weekend, so I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take an Illini 100 parlay predictions. It's gonna be a parlay. So in 2024, there was 45 and 44 late models each night, and mods was 47 and 45. Okay, so my parlay is going to be a 3 of the 4 of these things have to happen to be correct. Okay, the first one is there will be. I'll take the over for car count in both divisions. There will be more mods and more lates this year than there was last year. Okay. The second one is Illini drivers win both nights, regardless of what Uper says. Illini sweep. Third one, World of Outlaw Tour regular drivers will be over 50% of the podium finishes. So let me rephrase that: 50% or more.
Late models, sprint cars, both.
Late model, no, this is a Illini 100.
Oh, okay.
So 50% or more. So meaning, yeah. So if there's one night, it would have to be 2.
3
right?
or more of the 6 podiums.
Yep. And the modifieds, Mars Dirt Car UMP modifieds, a driver over 50% or more of the podiums will be drivers with the first name Mike or Michael.
Mike or Michael or just Mike?
Mike or Michael, any variation of Mikey, Mike, Michael,
that's
whatever.
Old as hell.
Right? Yeah. so that is that's the parlay right there. Over on the car counts, Illini sweep for the late models. Woo Tour drivers, 50% or more of the podiums. Drivers with the name Mike, Michael, Mikey, or any variation, 50% or more of the podium finishes in the modified. So that is it. That is it for episode number, holy cow, episode number 254. So, all right. Well, that was a heck of a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Give us some comments, give us some love. And as always, thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.